Namaste. This is the seventh in the series of chanting rules, in which we will discuss the art of practicing and perfecting your chanting. First, record yourself and listen to the recording. If you record your rendition after you have become confident, that is, after practicing long and hard, and you are sure that you are doing a good job, and then you listen to yourself, it can be the best method for bringing dramatic improvements in your chanting. This is because when we practice, we may think that we are doing it correctly. But once we listen to our own chanting, it is a reality check and can make us aware of our errors as well as the good parts. This will lead to focusing on our errors and also in creating confidence due to the good parts. Keeping records of your past practice sessions and listening to them after a month or two will tell you what improvements you have made in your chanting since the first recording. This can be quite some fun and make you blush at listening to what you thought had been a good rendition in the past. Now let's look at some tips for quality practice. A. Take a sentence and try to identify all the rules of pronunciation, chandas, dirgham, hrasvam, visargam, and holding. Like we learned in the mnemonic, please chant Devi hymns very harmoniously. Count the number of syllables. Then try to chant each syllable along with the related properties of pronunciation, dirgham, hrasvam, visargam, and holding. After some time, it will become second nature for you to actually analyze a sentence and take it apart and putting it back again. Initially, it will be tough going, but make it interesting for yourself and take it slow and easy. No pain, no gain. Once you start applying the technique though, it will be a cakewalk for you, and no longer will you be troubled by any word or sentence. No longer will you stumble over certain words and swallow them. No longer will you run ahead or behind of others. The right sound will start coming out. Trust me, and you will feel it in your body and bones, and you will know instinctively that you are chanting correctly, as there will be a connect somehow made with your soul. You will get spiritually energized and start feeling extremely good about yourself and the quality of your chanting. B. Practice long and hard in a slow and deliberate fashion and employ a high pitch and high volume. It will improve your stamina and breathing. You'll also master all the nuances. Mastery over the words and phrases will gradually result in a natural and quality increase in your speed of chanting. Your tongue is a muscle and you need to make it strong. Your throat also has to get strong for long hours of chanting. Practice, practice, practice. C. Make sure you're producing a good volume with your voice. Some people murmur or practice in a low pitch. Or they say, oh, I have listened to your audio. Listening to my audio or any audio and not practicing is just like watching an exercise video and hoping that you will get strong and better. It is of no use when you have to perform in public, as a lot of stamina is required, and without good practice, you can get tired very fast. D. Wherever you face difficulty, you will need to put in 10 times more effort. Whatever you are able to read easily at the first attempt will always be easy to chant. Similarly, wherever you stumble or have difficulty, it will always prove to be difficult for you. To get over this, be stubborn like Chanakya and keep practicing before you get it right. What did Chanakya do? When he stumbled over a tuft of grass, he plucked it, he ground it, and he drank it. When you face a difficulty in your chanting, your guru has to be Chanakya. Take it apart, practice it, and put it out of the way. What's the right way to deal with a difficult word? First, practice the different syllables in that word. Then practice that word or phrase. Then practice that word or phrase with the sentence before and after the sentence that you have difficulty with. Then practice that word or phrase with a few sentences before and after that challenging sentence. Why am I saying this? The above method is important, as you may think that you have mastered that word or phrase with repeated practice. Believe me that you will again stumble upon it when you do the chanting in a flow, and hence the need to practice that word or phrase in sections to ensure that you have indeed mastered that word or phrase. This is very important for you to understand. You may be able to chant that word in isolation, but you will stumble in a flow, and hence I keep suggesting that you will know you have mastered that word or phrase only when you're able to chant it in a flow with a few sentences before till you get to that word and you don't stumble upon it. Then there is another homegrown technique which I call reverse gear. What is reverse gear? Go in reverse, which will help you to get over any stumbling block formed by regular forward chanting. The idea is to deconstruct and construct again by going in reverse and shaking out the block that has been formed. For example, in the popular Ganesha sloka, Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopasantaye. Let's try going backwards as follows. The first line ends with jam, right? So we say jam, bhojam, turbhojam, chaturbhojam, nam chaturbhojam, varnam chaturbhojam, shivarnam chaturbhojam, sashivarnam chaturbhojam, nam sashivarnam chaturbhojam, Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam, Ram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam, Dharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam, Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam, Lam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam, Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. When you do this and you go back, all the syllables are shaken out and you chant them one by one in reverse gear. And anything that stopped you while going forward will now be ironed out. Trust me, this works magic. This technique has been immensely helpful to many of my students to master even the most difficult of slokas, and I'm sure it'll help you too. E. Never be complacent. Perfection is a never-ending pursuit. You'll need to practice constantly to be able to first chant fluently from a technical perspective, and then to become one with the chant to bring out the divinity in the chant and to express the bhavana. F. If you have practiced long and hard, then listening again to the audio you are following or the Guru's chanting in a live session, you will be able to follow better and pick up the intricate nuances and style in a much better fashion, and certain aspects will become clearer and clearer with increase in your practice. G. practice immediately after the class. This will improve retention. I think studies have shown that you retain only 33% once you leave a class, and you will lose that if you don't go home and practice immediately. This is very important. There is no end to practice. Your quality of chanting will depend on the amount of time you invest in it. Next one. Show utmost respect to each akshara, word or phrase. They will fetch you respect in turn. Shower your attention on them and linger over them with affection as you enunciate the aksharas, words and phrases. Then see the effect it has on your soul and how the audience gets engaged in the puja or ritual being performed. Remember the God of honor analogy that I shared with you earlier? In that analogy, I explained where the dignitary walks through the rows of soldiers and does not miss anyone. Imagine you are standing in a queue and a dignitary ignores you and walks past you. To meet the other people, how do you feel? You should bring the same bhavana or emotion to your chanting. Each akshara, word or phrase should be like a living and breathing human being to you, and not as an inanimate, dry and dreary prints on a page. I believe in this very sincerely and practice it to the best of my ability. Show them respect and see the amount of respect they fetch you. Now let's discuss an issue with what I call the popular or the familiar shloka or suktam syndrome or challenge. The most popular shlokas or Vedic rigs are chanted by many and not surprisingly contain the least quality from a technical viewpoint due to varying levels of quality of the chanters. The usual tendency is to chant fast with scant attention to detail. Common ones to suffer are popular Sahasranamams, Suktams like Rudram, etc. This causes distress to knowledgeable ones. I believe two choices are available for the distressed ones, that is the knowledgeable ones. Because when you become knowledgeable, you will go through this. A. Respect the bhakti and the enthusiasm of others and blend in making a practical compromise. Recall that you were like them once and still are when compared to experts. Keep the ego down. B. If you are confident and respected and in familiar surroundings, take charge of the situation. Don't have false humility because the right thing needs to be done. And if you're confident, take charge. Raise your pitch and slow down the chanting so that others take cue and follow suit. But you need to be very clear and confident when you do this. There are many who are impressed when chanting is done fast. Their understanding is speed is equal to excellence is equal to mastery. This is not necessarily true. It is true only when speed is achieved without compromise on the quality of chanting. It is difficult to chant slowly than fast, for each and every error will stand out like a sore thumb. Many times the student tells me, I make mistakes when I chant slow, but I chant correctly when I chant fast. Really? If you can chant correctly when you chant fast, should you not be able to chant correctly when you chant slow? Think about it. This is just like when we learn driving, the instinct is to drive fast than slow because of lack of control. The key word is control. I would recommend slow chanting to start with. Speed is a byproduct of slow chanting. I think I should patent this statement of mine. Speed is a byproduct of slow chanting. Without your knowledge and gradually you will pick up speed. What is important is when you pick up speed, you would not have compromised with quality. Once you are really familiar with the text, you will fall in love with each and every syllable and will not hasten but lavish your attention over each and every akshara, syllable, word, or sentence. It is sad that many have been chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lalita Sahasranamam, etc. for years, but still have areas where they mumble, keep quiet, or generally gloss over with interesting sounds like a clearing of their throat. It is obvious that there will be some difficult words or sections where we need to pay special attention. Perfection is a never-ending pursuit, and each level of improvement needs increasing amount of effort, care, and the grace of the Almighty. For getting to 90% perfection, you'll do it quite soon. But to go from 90 to 100, or 90 to 99, not 100, because only God is perfect. To go from 90 to 99.9%, each percentage point of improvement will take a lot of effort. And that is where your Shraddha or sincerity to your love for chanting comes in. How will you know that you have picked up speed? You will know this when you feel you're chanting slowly, but a person sitting next to you says, "Can you please slow down a bit?" How will you know that you have improved the quality of your chanting? You will know this when knowledgeable members of the gathering, peers, and total strangers will come forward expressing their appreciation. You will find chattering groups starting to keep quiet as they will feel the vibrations of good chanting. No one will need to make an announcement for the community members to keep quiet. When the vibrations reach them through the right sound, they will calm down themselves. Believe me, I have seen this happen many times. And with that, I conclude my chanting series on Shloka chanting. I will create and share with you a video on swaras later on that should help budding Vedic chanters and get them started. If you master all the rules that I shared with you in my chanting series videos, you're well prepared now to tackle Vedic chanting. I will repeat once again what I said in the introductory video. I am but a student, not a guru, sharing with you budding chanters as to what little I know and to give you a simple framework of rules explained as simply as I could, along with examples to drive the point home. I hope you find these chanting rules videos very useful and that they help you to improve your quality of chanting and provide you lots and lots of confidence and happiness. Dear friends, my very best wishes to you for your spiritual pursuits and chanting endeavors. We all need to learn our wonderful Sanatana Dharma scriptures to keep our glorious traditions alive. Each and every one of you, regardless of any denomination, and I mean that, any denomination, should chant, "I have done my best, and my only hope, I have done my best, and held nothing back from sharing with you. I have shared everything that I know. And my only hope and dream is that the community of chanters of our holy scriptures grows in geometrical proportions, and we do our best to celebrate the glory of our magnificent scriptures by chanting them and participating in our temple events." And that, my friends, concludes my video number 7 on chanting rules. Happy chanting and PKP. Please keep practicing. You can visit us at www.grdiyers.weebly.com. That is grdiyers.weebly.com. Namaste.